The supreme, profound, and sublime Dharma is difficult to encounter in a billion eons. Now I see it, hear it, receive it, and kept it. I vow to attain the true meaning of the Tathagata. In order to liberate all sentient beings, let us generate the supreme bodhicitta.
Excellent. Let's start our class on a journey to the West. Well, today I would like to share my experience of plucking Choji's beard. For a long time during the trip, Choji hardly had any time to get any rest. He was either conferring empowerment and teaching or traveling on the way to different Dharma centers. During our stay at Rocky Mountain Center, every day he was then given lectures in the morning and then one in the afternoon. He also needed to receive all kinds of people who came to see him at noon. Due to this very busy schedule, Rinpoche appeared to be physically unwell, especially with the pain in his feet, thus needed to be supported by the arm while walking or use a wheelchair. Sometimes he had to take painkillers to relieve the pain as well. One day, people of the Dharma Center called a massage therapist who was experienced at a foot massage. Initially, Choji would not get used to it since he never had a massage like this before. Later, in the later part of the trip to Canada and different places, there were other massage therapists called to give Phuntsok Rinpoche massages, and at that time he was already getting more used to it. Also, when there were therapists or doctors giving him massage, I would be there to pluck his beard. There was another Lama, Lama Jingmei. He's now in a different place, and I asked him, "Do you remember you also plucked a beard?" He said, "Oh yes, I remember that as well." Well, during the foot massage, Rinpoche would ask me to pluck his beard. We used to do it with copper tweezers since there were no razors in the Tibetan regions back then. At first, I was very nervous and dared not touch his face nor pluck his beard too forcefully. Sometimes I became really exhausted and sweaty, but I still couldn't pluck too many beard hairs. This was particularly the case with Choji when he was falling asleep, because I was afraid to hurt or wake him up. I became more careful and pluck his beard as gently as possible. Once, when I was trying to find the beard hair on his face, he suddenly opened his eyes and said in a low voice, "Ale." Ale means hello, hi, or I. It is not a sign of feeling pain. So I got so scared that my mind suddenly went blank at that moment. Phuntsok Rinpoche fell asleep, and I was drowsy, and I was still trying to pluck beard, and when he suddenly opened his eyes, I got really scared. It took me a long time to get used to this job and to get more relaxed. Each afternoon, when Ijinoru was not so busy, the massage therapist would come and do a foot massage, and I would pluck his beard at the same time. Occasionally, I would notice his beard hair turning gray, and then a kind of sadness would arise in my heart. Normally, the plucked hairs were not to be given to others. When he shaved his hair and all of that, though we really wanted to obtain some objects like that from him, he never gives that to anybody. And when we went to the Indian Ocean, Lama Tsodun said that Animedro, the sister of Phuntsok Rinpoche, must have thrown the hair into the Indian Ocean, and that's why we couldn't find it. He doesn't give beard or hair to anybody at all. The massage therapist suggested Choji to do more exercises and try to lose some weight. He offered a kind of tea to Rinpoche and said, "It's very good good tea for your health. It improves digestion and helps the body to burn calories. It is also available in your hometown. Choji quickly became fond of that tea, and sometimes he would add milk to it and make some sort of Tibetan milk tea. Later, I found out that this particular tea had been offered was the pu'er tea. After we returned to Tibet, Rinpoche continued to drink it, so I had the opportunity to offer him pu'er tea for a long time. I then found a way to have the pu'er tea mailed to me, and that tea merchant would do that every year, including back in 1997 when we went there. I made connections to them, and then that's how I was able to make the pu'er tea offering to Rinpoche. Thanks to the foot massage treatment, Choji's feet got much better before we left the Rocky Mountain Center. The extraordinary quality of the Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma. On the morning of July the 5th, the Yijinuru conferred the empowerment of Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma. Before bestowing the empowerment, he introduced the origin and extraordinary quality of this terma. My tea's cold, and it's out. Well, I'm coughing because I had some cold tea. So on the morning of July the 5th, before the empowerment, Pontsogren Rinpoche said that while you are receiving today's teaching, please generate the mind of bodhicitta. Contemplate that in order to benefit all sentient beings equal to limitless space, you will receive the empowerment that ripens your mind with the intention to carry out its stages of practice that lead you to liberation. And the terma of Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma that you are going to receive was revealed by me at the Asura Cave at Yanglesho in Nepal when I was with 7 disciples on our way to India in 1990. Back then I was there as well. This terma was entrusted to King Jinamitra of Nepal by the second Buddha, Orgyen Guru Padmasambhava, before transmitting any teachings in Tibet. Well, if you want to read more into the Asura Cave, it is then written in more detail in the previous memoir, the recollection. So if the recollection of the trip to India and Nepal and so on. So if you want to read more into that. Well, Ashura, in fact, it is Ashura, and then in Chinese it's somehow transcribed in a different way. Anyhow, Guru Padmasambhava decided to travel to Tibet in order to help the Buddhadharma flourish in Tibet, which was considered a dark land at the time, meaning lacking dharma. On his way to Tibet, Guru Rinpoche stayed and practiced in the Nepalese Asura Cave for some time, and during that time, King Jinamitra helped him dispel the obstacles to his body and created many favorable conditions for his dharma practice. With great joy, Guru Rinpoche solemnly entrusted this terma to the king. The Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma is the leading practice for dispelling all obstacles created by demonic influences, as it is stated in the prayer in the 7 chapters. It is the ultimate essence of the whole supreme knowledge, the whole knowledge tantra, and like a mother, it is the origin of 64 common and 32 extraordinary Vajrakilaya cycles in Tibet. Relying upon it, all Tibetan local spirits, such as the 12 Tenma sisters, were subdued and bound under the oath to protect the dharma. Well, in terms of the protector, those of you who have received this teaching, you are practicing the Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma. You should view the Vajrakilaya as your deity. This is really important for you to receive the empowerment and practice, and then practice upon it. I reviewed this terma by recalling the former life. This terma is entitled Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma because the Guru Rinpoche wore it in a small pouch bound around his neck, since it was such a profound and pith instruction. Once revealing the terma as the root text of the cycle says, there will always there will appear wonderful auspicious circumstances that will bring great significance. The circumstances then, when this terma was offered to its root holder, was as follows. The root holder is the one who would propagate the teaching mainly and make sure this teaching will flourish. That's the root holder. So the root holders are Gyawa Rinpoche wrote the lineage prayer for the Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma, and the colorful at the end reads, I Tenzin Gyatso, a bhikshu follower of Shakyamuni, who has a connection through karma and aspirations, wrote this. Well, before the actual practice, then Gyawa Rinpoche actually wrote a colorful and then wrote the aspiration, also a supplication for this teaching. So it is stated as such. Hence, we can see that Gyawa Rinpoche is the root holder of this terma cycle. I had been practicing this terma since I reviewed it, and before giving its transmission to anyone else, I went to Gyawa Rinpoche's residence and offered it to him. He attached a great importance to this terma and treasured it as a wish-fulfilling jewel. He seriously and sincerely requested me to give the whole transmission to him immediately. So on the very day I arrived, I offered him the complete practice, including its empowerment and practical instructions. The circumstances when this terma was entrusted to the Dharma protector Netron Dorje Dragden are the Netron Dorje Dragden served as the messenger for His Holiness the 13th Gyawa Rinpoche, Tupten Gyatso, and Turton Sogyo, and he passed on the prophecies related to both of them. He also requested many teachings from Turton Sogyo. It was dependent on these auspicious connections that this terma was revealed. When I was conferring the empowerment of Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma, Netron Dorje Dragden suddenly descended in a wrathful form and received the empowerment and instructions. In addition, at the request of Gyawa Rinpoche and Netron Dorje Dragden, the prayer for subjugating activities relating to this terma arose from the expanse of my awareness. Regarding the fire offering of this terma cycle, this too arose spontaneously from my awareness expanse while I was with Gyawa Rinpoche, and he humbly wrote down these words. Then, following Turton Sogyo's tradition, this terma also was offered to the chief lineage holders in Sakya, Kagyu, and Nima traditions. As for the Nima tradition, since all the previous incarnations of the Mahasiddhas, Kyabje Pinna Rinpoche was the main holder of the Nima lineage, offered the empowerment of this terma together with its complete instructions, and then presented it to Pinna Rinpoche. In the Sakya tradition, there were two main lineage holders from whom Turton Sogyo never kept any secret, Gyalwai Tupten Gyatso and Jamyang Kintso Wampo. And I offered empowerment instruction and oral transmissions to the incarnation of Jamyang Kintso Wampo, namely Dugu Kintso Rinpoche. In terms of the Kagyu tradition, the chief holder of the time, Turton Lirab Limpa, was the 15th Karmapa, Kakyab Dorje. Unfortunately, his reincarnation, the 16th Karmapa Renjun Rigpe Dorje, had passed away into Parinirvana before I was able to offer him this terma. Well, I believe Karmapa, the 16th Karmapa's heart was also still kept. It didn't burn off, but I can't quite remember where it was kept. Maybe Colorado, but I can't remember. I believe it will be offered to his reincarnation in the near future, no matter where he may be. Well, so Karmapa, there are two Karmapas. In the past, there were some disagreements about the two Karmapas, but in the future, I'm sure the two Karmapas will receive this as well, because now there is no discrepancies about the two Karmapas whatsoever. It is said that Phuntsuk Rinpoche said that the 16th Karmapa had passed away by the time Phuntsuk Rinpoche was visiting, and the 17th Karmapa, I think he was already born by 1993. This terma is endowed with perfectly auspicious signs that have never been tinted, irrespective of outer, inner, or sacred aspects. There should be no doubt that anyone who practices this will obtain success and auspiciousness and be able to fully dispel all obstacles and negativities. This indeed is a sublime, profound, and unsurpassable practice that has never appeared before. I will just read you the part that I didn't read from yesterday to make up for the oral transmission. Let me see. Maybe tomorrow. Let me finish this part first. I want to say more about the extraordinary qualities of this terma. One simple fact is that ever since it was reviewed, the circumstances in the snowland of Tibet have greatly changed. The well-being of Tibetans improved, and the Buddhadharma has been flourishing. Not only for Tibetans, whoever encounter it will have full success, inner peace, sublime bliss, and auspiciousness, and everything will go smoothly according to their will. Well, indeed, we can see that in Tibet, let it be Dharma assemblies or the general well-being or spiritual well-being of the Tibetans are going very well. This is another undeniable fact, especially for those great lineage holders who have received this teaching. Their enlightened activities will increasingly flourish and prosper like the waxing moon. From this point alone, we can conclude that this terma will bring great benefit and auspiciousness to all sentient beings. I have already briefly introduced you the origin and extraordinary qualities of this teaching. Now we'll confer you the empowerment. Tomna ni be jana pamshi cha kirga nan chi ralong chukba chubum solen roa jur sho